Imagine this. Someone is relentlessly pursuing you. Their intent is clear. They want to put an end to your very existence. Despite the danger, your faith in God remains strong. Yet, others urge you to abandon that faith and flee for your life. What do? How will you respond? That might be an extreme scenario, but have you ever felt your faith challenged? Whether from a particular situation or from the faithless advice of another person? What was your response? Did you have any doubt that God would be there for you? Or did you confidently stand your ground despite your surrounding circumstances? Well, in today's video, we are going to be having a look at Psalm 11, a psalm that provides us with an excellent model of faith for us to follow and learn from when it comes to our faith being challenged. Hi everyone, welcome back to Visual Scriptures. For those who might be new to this channel, my name is Mark. On this channel, I combine my love for God and filmmaking together to share His word with others. Over the last few videos, we have been looking at the book of Psalms, deconstructing the individual psalms and seeing how they can relate to our lives today. In doing so, we have been looking at the deeper meanings that we can often miss with our 21st century perspectives. Psalm 11 is a short yet powerful passage that speaks directly to the challenges we face in an increasingly God-opposed world. While it does not provide us with a precise context in which it was written, some believe it reflects David's experiences as a fugitive from Saul. If you recall in 1 Samuel, Saul, the king of David, grew jealous and fearful of David's success, repeatedly attempting to hunt him down. This would have been a deeply stressful ordeal for David. Psalm 11 is structured into two sections. In verses 1 to 3, the psalmist recounts the faithless advice given to him by others. In verses 4 to 7, he offers his response, grounded in his unwavering trust in God. Let's dive in. The psalm opens with the psalmist questioning the faithless advice he received from his peers. In the Lord I take refuge. How then can you say to me, flee like a bird to the mountain? For look, the wicked bend their bows. They set their arrows against the strings to shoot from the shadows at the upright in heart. When the foundations are being destroyed, what can the righteous do? David was questioning the advice he received from others. People were urging him to abandon all hope, insisting that nothing could be done and that he should flee for his life. Even more troubling, they implied that he and the righteous, those who have faith in God, were completely vulnerable. I guess from a worldly perspective, this advice might seem logical given the circumstances. However, for those who have trust in God, it is far from the truth. God is our shield and provider. This belief is exactly what David affirms in the second section of this psalm. In verses 4 to 7, we read about David's response to this challenge. Instead of abandoning all hope and fleeing like a bird to the mountain as he was told to do, David affirms his confidence in God's sovereignty, justice, and protection, and in turn essentially says that he would be seeking refuge in Him. The Lord is in His holy temple. The Lord is on His heavenly throne. He observes everyone on earth. His eyes examine them. The Lord examines the righteous, but the wicked, those who love violence, He hates with a passion. On the wicked He will rain fiery coals and burning sulfur. A scorching wind will be their lot. For the Lord is righteous. He loves justice. The upright will see His face. In other words, David's ultimate response to the advice he was receiving was, as Rabbi Abramowitz put it, was to say, how dare his detractors suggest that he is afraid? He has God on his side. So what do we learn from this psalm? Well, as I noted earlier, the psalmist provides us with an excellent model of faith in times of opposition. When his faith was challenged, David didn't give in to fear or worldly reasoning. Instead, he rebutted it, affirming what he knew to be true about our living God, our righteous judge. This echoes the point he made in Psalms 9 and 10, which I covered in a previous video, and I encourage you to watch it if you haven't yet. David reminds us that God is a righteous judge who watches over all. And although it may appear at times that the wicked do as they please without consequence, while the righteous struggle, that is not how the story ends. God will ultimately rise, judge, and bring deliverance to his people in his perfect way and timing. As I noted at the beginning of this video, we live in a God-opposed world. As God's people, our faith is constantly being challenged by family, friends, colleagues, bosses, teachers, lecturers, books, movies. The list goes on and on. Nowadays, believing in God and putting your faith in him is seen as something absurd and illogical. Maybe you can think of some people in your own life who really challenged your faith, even when they meant well by offering advice that lacked faith. After all, at the time, their suggestions might have seemed reasonable given the circumstances, encouraging you to take matters into your own hands. Perhaps, however, when reflecting on moments when your faith was truly tested, it was not the faithless advice you received from others that challenged your faith, but instead, it was your own doubts and faithless thoughts that arose when challenged. As I covered in my video on Psalm 3, there's this Jewish thought that often our greatest adversary is the enemy within ourselves. How many times have you faced a difficult situation and either panicked, taken matters into your own hands, or sought comfort in something or someone else, abandoning your faith in God altogether? Perhaps you lost a job at one point and you panicked and started stressing over how you'll provide for your family. Unfortunately, I think we are all guilty of doing this at some point. But that's okay. It's natural. We are human after all. What matters, however, is that we recognize this tendency and prepare ourselves for the next challenge we face. Will we give in to fear, or will we learn from David in Psalm 11, responding boldly with, "How dare you say I should be afraid?" As God's people, we are called to be strong and courageous, holding fast to our faith and trusting that God will provide. Let me say that again in case you need to hear it right now. God will provide. So next time you face a challenge and you're receiving faithless advice or battling your own anxious thoughts, remind the person giving you advice or yourself, "In the Lord I take refuge. How then can you say this to me?" Follow David's example in this psalm. As Pastor Guzik describes it, lift up your eyes to the Lord to find faith in a time of testing, knowing that the safest place to stand is in radical trust in God. We have God on our side. We have His word to guide us, and in it we can see countless stories of God providing for His people. Just as He watched over David when Saul was pursuing him, God will watch over and provide for us all the days of our lives. That's it from me today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, please consider hitting that like button and sharing it with someone you think may need it. Please also consider subscribing for more videos on the Psalms and how they can relate to our lives today. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, stay safe and keep that faith. Bye.